everyone, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann. This is the award-winning Fan Show. That's right. Everyone's a fan of something. We've got something for every fan, and today we've got something for the wrestling fans out there as I welcome back my best friend and one of the best wrestling aficionados I know. You're like a walking, talking dictionary for professional wrestling. James the Sports Guy, welcome back.
Hey, Richard.
Been a while.
It's been April 11th.
I knew you were going to pull that on me.
April 11th.
Because you didn't know the date offhand.
I just knew that it had been a really, really long time.
If it was a pay-per-view, you would have known the date offhand. I'm just saying. Like that's
I'm
how
just
you
pointing
do
out that the only reason I'm here is because I had to advocate for myself to be on here.
I do love that you invited yourself to be on as a New Year's special.
It was merely a suggestion.
I know, but I know better with you, and I do appreciate it because you've been so busy. I've wanted to have you on. To like, there's so much I want to talk about,
right? And
we're going to talk about it now.
Yeah.
But you are all over the place, which is good. It's good.
It's great.
Good problems, right? You're busy, you're staying busy.
Yes.
You're doing something you enjoy.
Yes.
And I applaud that. So, I mean, when you texted me and said, "Hey, we should do this," or I think it was a tweet.
It was a tweet. It was a tweet.
I was like, yes. Like, I can't say no to that because. I feel like the way that we should start this wrestling special off, which is going to be a review of 2018 and a preview of 2019, how the best we can do.
Yeah.
Is I know how much you love Seinfeld. I wanted to do kind of a Festivus spin to it where we air out our grievances of the wrestling world.
Yep.
But Christmas was good.
It was horrible. It was. I mean. Christmas at one time in my life used to be my favorite holiday, and now it's my favorite holiday to hate because it's progressively gotten worse every single year. And so now it's not a matter of how much am I not going to like it, but it's just how can I spin that into just really funny stories. And so I hate it. It's god awful.
What's your new favorite holiday?
Oh, still Christmas.
Just for different reasons.
I still want to have hope that one day it's gonna turn around on me and be good again.
Make Christmas great again.
Oh God! But yeah. So there you go.
Fair enough. You know, like I feel you there because. There's a passing of the torch that happens with families, or at least that's what's supposed to happen. And sometimes that torch gets flat out dropped and never picked up again.
Yeah.
And that can dictate like that holiday.
That flame,
you know?
That flame is close to being snuffed out.
Yeah.
But so survived it. Turned 34 this week, and thanks for the phone call. But was with my uncle that day and spent 3 hours with him, and he completely forgot that it was my birthday. And was talking about all this marketing work that he needs to have done, and he's like, we really need to send like birthday cards to people. Like, that's a real good personal touch. I'm like, yeah, it is. Even my doctor sent me one today. And he was just like, oh, okay. Not registering. And then he's like, people are getting older. I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm getting older, like, today. And he's just like, yeah, okay. Just not even registering it.
Like, yeah, man, we're all a little older every day.
Yeah.
It takes a rip off a joint.
Then on my way out, his secretary is like, oh, happy birthday, James. And,
oh, God,
and
the
he
secretary.
Was was like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah. So,
I get happy birthday cards from, like, Vistaprint, like Gillette.
Yeah.
Like, places that I've shopped at one time
Yeah.
or have had to register an account with my birthday one time. And I get something in the mail from them without fail.
I heard more from businesses that I have frequented once or twice than I have my own family. So, happy birthday, James.
Wow. So we're December birthdays. We understand the struggle of...
It's horrible. It's god awful. It's our own fault.
Yeah. of combined birthday and Christmas gifts.
Oh, yeah. My family at Christmas decided to have one giant cake and celebrate all the December birthdays in one.
Which I did not forget about you. In fact, I am thinking about you most of the year. Facts. Because I got you your birthday present months ago, and it's just been sitting here. Just at my desk, just ready for you. So this is yours. I don't know if you have a place to put that. I don't know if you have a desk, but I know how much you love A Goofy Movie and Powerline. And when I saw that, I immediately thought of you.
Thank you.
And D'Angelo was just like, you have to get him that.
Yeah.
So it's just been hanging out with the other Funko Pops I have, and
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you so much.
Oh, so to the main event, to the main course.
Oh God!
And just to show you like how prepared I was for this, talking points, notes. Like look at that, boom! I thought this out the last 12 hours. Oh,
I've got notes too.
I got caught up on NXT last night because I hadn't for whatever reason.
So let's just before we get to our grievances, can we just agree? NXT wins this year.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
and just
without a doubt.
There's nothing even to complain about. It's been great all year.
The main roster's only saving grace has been Becky Lynch, and that's undisputed at this point. In my opinion.
But NXT killed it all year. All the takeovers, great character development, great storylines, great NXT.
Which it was funny because as I was typing out my talking points, and it could have been because I was catching up on NXT and binge watching, but a lot of what I wanted to talk about is related to NXT because I feel like they get it.
They get it.
Like, and that's what I love about them is that I miss seeing certain superstars each week, but at the same time, it like makes me appreciate their appearance more when they're on that next episode.
Yeah. And it's what you can do in an hour, granted, but it's also, to me, it's like I've listened to people be like, we missed the Attitude Era, and blah 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 blah. I've gone back and watched a lot of stuff from the Attitude Era. The match qualities were horrible. The matches were god awful, like truthfully bad. But NXT proves what you can do in this era, and it's awesome.
Of storytelling in the ring.
Storytelling in the ring.
Which is funny that you mentioned the matches being awful during the Attitude Era, because I remember there was a point in time where I would catch up on Raw and SmackDown, whether it was DVR or doing the Hulu recap, and I would speed through the matches. I just wanted to see the promos and the storylines. Yeah. That's what happened.
Truthfully, the matches were completely secondary. Most of them were horrible. Like, were really not good. Where now you've got people who have the ability to put on phenomenal matches. And so to me, NXT just gets an A for the year.
Yes, I will agree with that. Now, so first things first here.
Also, Mauro Ranallo gets an A for the year.
Well, that's without saying. I mean, when you used to hype up this guy, knowing the kind of career path that I'm choosing, I was like, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't seen the bipolar rock and roller.
Yeah,
I have not seen that documentary.
It's awesome.
Heard great things, but no, he crushes it. He's not he's over the top, but in a really complimenting way. He's not
in an authentic way.
Yeah, he's not a Michael Cole who seems like all you're doing is pulling a string. Right. That's seriously what Michael Cole sounds like.
Right.
Which is one of my grievances. But yeah, he does so good, and it feels so authentic, so pure.
So well. He does so well.
He does so well.
Thank you.
Whatever.
But no, here's my thing with NXT. Here's why NXT works. Its sole mission is to build everybody.
Yes.
Good, bad, whatever, in between. You are building everybody. It's not about, we need to make this person seem better than this person. Both of them need to seem credible by the end. Man or woman, everyone needs to seem, unless it's one of those squash matches, but the other 95% of the time, it's about you're building everybody.
Yes. And that's what I love about them. However, perfect segue, because my number one talking point, Ono. Cassius Ono. Is he an NXT lifer? Like, because here's a fun fact that not many realize, and if they don't, I don't believe they're true wrestling fans. He has been in NXT so long, he has wrestled both Derek Bateman and EC3.
Yes.
He has had matches with both of them.
Well, he was in NXT and then he left.
Uh-huh.
Because he was back there when it was still FCW, transitioning into NXT, and then he left. And now he's back. Because his name is Chris Hero, if anyone didn't know. One, they need to change his whole, like, wrestling wear, his attire.
Yeah, it's a little 90s.
It looks ridiculous. So, yeah, I mean, I just don't know. I don't know what it's going to take to get him over that hump.
Well, I stopped believing that he was going to ever get a shot at the main roster because with who he's been paired up with lately, he seems like that guy that's just there to put over young talent. But isn't that what NXT is to develop the young talent?
But also, I guess here's my next point. Would you rather be on NXT and be in that role that he's in, or be on SmackDown and never be used?
Oh God! So you're talking
hashtag Ty Dillinger, like where you're never even seen.
Yeah, it's very.
So to me, if I were him,
I'd be happy with my role.
I would stay right there.
However, guys would argue, what's the paycheck difference look like? Because there's guys that don't even make TV appearances regularly on SmackDown that are making way more bank than a guy who makes a regular appearance on NXT.
Well, you look at a guy like Zack Ryder, who, and here's a spoiler, he's on Raw tonight. But up until tonight, he has not been on a single Raw the entire year.
Which is crazy.
He will be on Raw tonight, for those of you wondering. Spoiler alert. But, other than that, he hasn't been. But he's still making more money than Chris Hero. But I don't know. I think there are certain people. I wish people in NXT could make more money, because I think some people should just stay there. And really fully develop it into a true third brand. Which
brings me to another talking point.
Here we go.
So, the calling up talent, as they refer to it, which is it is what it is. They've done god awful with. Yes. Now, before we address they're making wrestling better, starting 2 weeks ago.
Next week,
next week. But here's my thing: is that I was in a band for a long time, and I understand that there are certain fans and there are certain bands. And certain bands work in certain places, and certain fans are simply a fan of different things. You take a group like Sanity, because Nikki Cross is getting called up.
Right.
Sanity, I know I talked to you about this before, I believed should have been an NXT lifer, because what NXT is it is that underground.
Yep.
It is that small venue that gets great bands, and there's not a lot of production, but those bands perform their asses off because they know their fans will appreciate it. They're not in arenas where there's big production and,
except for takeovers.
Okay, yeah, takeover. I'll give you that. But Sanity, as crazy as it is, really embodies the underground that I believe NXT is. I don't think they're going to do well on the main roster. I think EC3 will, because he is big production. But Nikki Cross and Sanity, I don't see it.
But people also said the same thing about Bobby Roode, and that's been a colossal failure.
That's creative's fault right there, because you had what I thought was one of the best heels in NXT of the most recent era, as far as in the championship picture, and they just dropped the ball.
I mean, here, it's all about intentionality. Just bringing people up for the sake of bringing people up is pointless unless you have a clear direction for them. Ty Dillinger was red hot in NXT when they brought him up. Has done nothing. And that's not a slam against him as a worker, as a talent, as a character, nothing.
He's very talented.
But they essentially killed him. They killed Shinsuke Nakamura this year.
Oh, God.
They almost killed Asuka this year. You know what I mean?
Dude, they did. They just brought her back to life at a very convenient time.
But it's like, with a lot of these people, there's been no intentionality. There's no, and if we're going to start gripes, one of my biggest gripe has been there's been there's no storylines on the main roster. There really isn't. It feels very much. Well, let's just put the. How many times are we going to see Seth and Dolph work on Raw without a story like continuing to develop?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. If we look at just the last few months of Raw, okay, so at one point, Dolph and Drew McIntyre were a tag team. Then Braun turns heel, and then Braun joins them. Roman gets sick. Okay, now we got to flip Braun back. So now Braun's like flipped back. Then Drew turns on Dolph, and now Drew's aligned himself with Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley. It's like it's so there's no like definitive like arc there. It's just okay, well, and they spent all year killing every talent on Raw to make Roman the guy, so that there was no definitive number two. Braun was his hottest the first part of the year, but they decided, nope, we got to go with Roman.
So let's go ahead and air out some grievances here. Which my grievance is the storytelling at the main roster level. There hasn't been, and for them to be able to get their asses handed to them once every 3 or 4 months when there's a takeover on the eve of one of their big four, it's like, hey, are you gonna get it? Now, a question I have for you is, I remember there being that rumor, which I think turned out to be true to an extent, was that Vince made a point to keep a lot of the WCW hot talent down because they weren't, born and bred WWE. So you saw Booker T, RVD, guys like that were in the title picture at WCW not getting their shot until way, way after. Is that how Vince and Creative are handling NXT, because he doesn't want to basically have it shoved in his face that Hunter is doing a much better job with developing young talent than Vince can on the main roster?
Well, first off, they would argue that they never kept WCW people down.
I don't believe it.
And RVD was in ECW. But,
well, that's what I meant. The invasion people.
But they would argue it, because, Booker was a champ. Anywho. It's Vince's pride. Look, I remember when my grandfather was like 75 and was starting to like age, and he still felt like he still had to be. He was still Mufasa, and he wasn't. You know what I mean? Like,
great analogy. I love
it. He still believed that he was still like the king of Pride Rock.
Yes.
Well, eventually Mufasa got taken out.
Spoiler,
right? Sorry for all of you who are going to see Lion King on July 19th in theaters.
For the first time somehow.
And so I really think it's that Vince truthfully believes to his core that he knows what people want. He believes that he knows what people want more than now, and it's finally biting him in the butt, and hence this new, we're going to give people what they want, which I don't believe. So no, I don't. I just think that he does not understand NXT. He does not understand creative storytelling and creative arcs. And you get people like Triple H and Shawn Michaels who are now down there, like really like helping develop these long arcs. The Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa thing has been a year and a half now, and it's still red hot because they just add new layers. And yeah, they've kind of have flipped Gargano now, but it has not taken these radical turns that... It's like a book. If pigs can fly on page 5, pigs should be able to fly on page 33. Like, it should stay consistent. Raw has not been that.
No.
Page 5, pigs can fly. Page 6, pigs are like on... Like, there's nothing consistent because every week, gotta change it. So... there's been no continuity. There's been no storyline. Even something that could have been red hot, the Drew Ambrose turn, has been completely fizzled, and it's stupid now. It's dumb. There's no heat to that whatsoever.
Yeah, the decisions on the main roster have really baffled me over the last year, just because it's like, as someone who prides themselves on listening to the fans, and you say that you're going to, and you know that that's the best way to boost your product is to essentially give them what they want, you have a product that sells itself. Like, why wouldn't you want to make things easier on you by letting them lead the way, even if you're not, like, saying, you know, yeah, you guys are in control now. Like, you could coax it in.
Right.
The Braun Strowman thing was probably in my opinion, if we're going to do best and worst right now, that was my worst for Raw, was the Braun Strowman turn. And even then, they almost salvaged it. The Dogs of War thing, but that lasted, what, 3 Raws? And a pay-per-view, and then it was done. That could have been great. It could have been.
I had no problem with them turning him heel. Like, truthfully, I didn't. But make him the guy. Make him the, like... We'll get to Crown Jewel in a second, because I've got my own, like, heat with that. But there was no reason for Brock Lesnar to be in there. No. You put Braun in there. You put, like, a fatal 4-way match there. Braun wins. He becomes the champ. He's now, like, this vicious, evil, bad dude. That could have been great, because you could have paired him up against Finn. So Finn's the underdog. Like, it could have been... We've seen this story so many times play out, and it could have been great. But now it's like his... People cheering for him is not what it was back at WrestleMania time.
No, it's not.
You know? Here's another case. Rusev winning the U.S. title. Rusev was getting the big Rusev Day chants back at WrestleMania time. He got the loudest pop of almost anybody, and you waited until Christmas.
Yeah, and Aiden English was like...
Who?
Yeah. Which, that's another one of my grievances, is total divas. Look, I get it's supposed to be reality TV, so if it's real, it's real. If it's not, it's not. But it has ruined my perception of a few superstars. I love Rusev. I like Lana. Terrible couple. Probably the worst since Nikki and Cena. And Nikki is one of those people who I honestly wholeheartedly believe can't function in life without some kind of drama, which is why they split up. Because he went and did everything for her that she wanted to do, despite the fact that he said he wouldn't do those things. And now when she gets it, she's just like, I don't want it. That is Nikki Bella in a nutshell. Oh, you're going to give me everything I want? I don't want it. So Lana and Rusev, I mean, he wants all this stuff, and she's, you know, well, I got to think about my career. What career? And it's just, it ruined Paige for me because, Nia Jax ruined herself on Raw, but I'm kind of tired of it. I don't like seeing inside their lives, you know, if they're going to be stupid people.
Nia, here's another one. Is she a good guy or a bad guy?
Nobody knows.
Right now, you would say she's a bad guy because she punched Becky Lynch in the face, whatever.
Yeah.
But they flipped. Like, here's another classic point of just my irritation with this year: the Big Show.
Yeah, what's his role?
He's bringing out the Make-A-Wish kids.
Special Olympics,
whatever it is. Next week, he's a bad guy with the bar on SmackDown, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
And now he's like, it's so sporadic and nothing makes sense. There's been no consistency all year with anything. Is The Miz a good guy or a bad guy right now?
I'd say he's a good guy because he's with Shane now. Up until this last week, I'd say he was still flirting with the heel line, but now that he's partnered with Shane officially,
and not that it needs to be like set in stone,
but
it's so murky,
yeah,
that it's just like. And I feel like Raw has been the exact same for 3 months. I don't feel like there's been any. I think it's been I feel like it's been the exact same Raw. You're going to see Sasha Banks and Bayley against the Riot Squad. You're going to see somehow Seth versus either Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, or Dolph Ziggler in some iteration. Elias is going to sing a song and smash somebody with a guitar. Like, there's no progression. It's like Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not. Which is why the ratings have sucked worse and worse and worse.
All time lows.
All time lows. So my worst moment on Raw for all of 2018 was the Braun Strowman heel turn. because he had like a rocket strapped to his ass, and you couldn't even help it if you tried. Like, that was all on his own. That was all pure, organic. He did everything right.
Wasted the money in the bank.
And just complete waste.
Wasted it.
What was your worst from Raw? Worst moment? If you had to pick one.
2018. I mean, do I have a single moment that's bad? I think it's just all been so... It's been so bad that I couldn't pick just, like, one. Like, let me see in my notes. It's just been so... just nothing consistent. They held everyone down in the name of Roman Reigns. Bray Wyatt, who? The B team, they were turning him into something, and now they've not been on TV for months. The stupid Lucha House Party. You have a badass team like the Authors of Pain, and then you right,
who have had the single worst championship run of any team on Raw.
Yeah, they're not even champions anymore.
They won against one guy, and then they lost to a makeshift throw you together because we don't have any other storyline for you guys at this time.
Yeah.
Like, that is so insulting.
To a team that, once again, in NXT was viewed as this
Yep.
When you go back and you watch, like, the Revival versus AOP in NXT and how hot those matches were. Just insane. And you're not doing it now on Raw.
The two best titles on the main roster as a whole right now are the WWE title and the Intercontinental. The Universal title has crap history, and the United States title has fallen quickly into that same category.
I would say I would put the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Well, I don't know why I forgot those, but yes, I would say both women's titles have been doing very well. I don't feel like the women need grievance, aired out
honestly,
right now.
The women stole 2018.
Yeah.
NXT and the women's division was the best part of 2018.
Yeah, for me, best moment from either show, and it's funny because that's actually how it worked out. Becky Lynch on Raw. Hands down.
On Raw.
That was the best moment.
Best moment of main roster the entire year.
And it was unplanned, it was organic, and it was pure. It was entertainment, man. I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
Worst moment from SmackDown for me, Daniel Bryan heel turn. It just... The turn and winning on short notice like that on SmackDown, because I almost would have said Daniel Bryan's return to being cleared was a bigger moment even than Becky Lynch. But when they turned him heel and put the title on him right away, it was just like, you have a storyline built for itself all the way to Mania. You put the title on Miz at Crown Jewel or whatever. You get him in the Rumble. Daniel Bryan comes out, wins the Rumble, checks that off the bucket list. Right. Set up for Miz and Daniel Bryan at Mania. It's perfect. And they just...
I think you keep Daniel Bryan... I would have kept Daniel Bryan as have him win the title from AJ. Great. They have some great matches, blah, 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 blah.
They do.
Whatever. Okay. Miz wins the Rumble, because I'm sorry, if anybody from Raw wins the Rumble, I'm going to vomit. Because sure, they're trying to do something with Drew McIntyre, and he's great, and Finn Balor's great, whatever. But the Miz is in a much stronger position. I don't want another Sheamus winning the Rumble, where you're just like, really, what? Do you remember that Sheamus won the Rumble?
Yeah, because they advertise it somehow.
Most people don't, because it was just one of those like, wait, really? So to me, have Miz do it. Have Miz and Daniel Bryan at Mania.
I'd love to see that. I really would. I think it'd be great.
I think on SmackDown, you're not going to have a better
pairing.
There's no. If they do Miz and Shane, I'm going to vomit at Mania. You just now thought about that, but to me, it's like
it just now hit me that that's a very real possibility.
If these are the seeds that they're planning, that one of the two of them turn on one another, and then we get the match, I'm going to vomit, because Miz needs to be in the championship match at Mania.
Yeah. And speaking of which, so the Bryan heel turn for me sucked because there's very few authentic faces and authentic heels. And WWE main roster is lacking on both sides.
Yep.
I feel like turning a superstar heel is lazy, because in all honesty, it is easier to be a heel and get people to boo you than it is to cheer you. But Daniel Bryan has been one of the most purely cheered guys in that business's history, and you turn him heel? Like, it just, the best heels right now, without a doubt. Kevin Owens, who's hurt.
Yep.
Samoa Joe, who hasn't held the title.
Yep.
Randy Orton, who they keep regurgitating storylines and he does more and more sick, twisted stuff. And then Drew McIntyre. Because Ziggler's a good heel, but I like him. Because is he really a heel? Like, the fans cheer him. But it's like he tries his best, just like The Miz, to get them to not cheer him. But we know how good they are and how much they deserve to be better than where they are. So Daniel Bryan is a heel. Dean Ambrose is a heel. They both suck right now. I don't like it.
Dean Ambrose needs to be so just like sick and twisted and aggressive. Just so not like this weird cowardly just like the night he turned, that type of like sick aggression. It needs to be that every single week, where you're just like, dude, I'm afraid of this guy. Like, what is he like? Okay, he's like truly, but now he's just this weird, like, let me wear weird colored jackets, and it's like, no, like, you've now taken the heat off of him, and now it's just, yeah, okay.
This is boring.
Which is TLC.
Yeah.
They got that. I mean, that's what people were chanting. I mean, Vince was apparently livid about it. I'd be livid. But Vince can't blame them because they took the heat off that.
Yeah. Seth, in my mind, has like kind of run his course with me. And I couldn't pinpoint an exact moment of when, but it just seems like he's been overused or overdone. Like, he's out there doing the open challenge with the Intercontinental title all the time, or he's out there constantly talking trash about Brock Lesnar. It just seems like he's out there more than he needs to be.
Oh, complete overexposure. Complete overexposure to no development. Because
it's going nowhere.
Because 2018, he had the gauntlet match in February, which to me was, okay, this is your time. If you're going to do something with him, do it when he's red hot. You just gave him this great moment. Nothing, and it was like, okay, he wins the Intercontinental title at Mania, great. He has a great match with Miz at Backlash, great. From then on,
nothing.
He's been treading water, and Miz has made the Intercontinental Championship mean more than Seth has.
I will give you that. I do believe that. I'm over the New Day. It's the same thing every week for like 3 or 4 years now running, maybe more.
Yeah.
They come out, they do their pancake thing, they compete for the tag team titles, which, by the way, sidebar, they're not a faction. They're 3 guys that only chase after the tag team titles, unless one of them gets put in the Rumble or the Money in the Bank.
All 3 will be in the Rumble. Spoiler alert for SmackDown tomorrow.
But it's like Kofi, very decorated superstar. Even Big E was. Xavier Woods contributes nothing to that group.
Which is funny because he's actually one of the most talented.
Yeah,
even though he's blocked both of us. Sorry.
Get some thicker skin, Xavier Woods.
Sorry about that. But to me, they're ready for. One of them needs to get like a singles title where it's like still like they're still the New Day, but give us that next evolution of them.
Yeah, they're a stable. They're not a faction. Like, factions try to dominate and put gold around everybody's waist, which the Undisputed Era has got to be my favorite thing from 2018. Because
they're amazing. They're amazing.
They are so main roster ready, but I get so nervous because I know that it seems like the better you do in NXT, the worse you do on the main roster.
100%.
Shinsuke, Asuka, Bobby Roode.
Mm-hmm.
And
Samoa Joe.
They need to. I know it's been done, but my God, this is begging for an invasion angle, like rivaling Evolution.
To me, nothing would be greater at Mania, the night after a takeover, or 2 nights after takeover, because takeover will be on Friday. This whole Evolution thing that leads right into the hottest Raw of the year.
Yeah.
To me, like, how perfect would that be?
Yeah, like they're main roster ready. I mean, they could easily put all the NXT titles on them and nobody would bat an eye because they're just that good. But if you're going to do something surprising and if you're going to call people up without actually calling them up, that's your angle right there. That's your in, is those 4 guys. Because I think WrestleMania 36, 37, Adam Cole versus Finn Balor in the main event, I mean, it's not crazy.
No. I mean, Adam Cole versus a whole litany of people.
Yeah.
You know, Adam Cole versus Andre Cien Almas, who, by the way, is one of my most favorite talents on the main roster. Just he's not getting the credit that he deserves, or a story. He's not getting a storyline.
Yeah, his theme song is my favorite right now. I love it.
It's great. But see, there's another case where he's just being used as a guy, which instead of he's not feuding with anybody. He's a person on the roster that's just, no, let's just throw his name out there and he just does a match. Which to me is what the main roster feels like. It's no storyline. It's just a collection of individuals who are having matches instead of...
See, and I thought when they put Mysterio on SmackDown, they were bringing him in to keep Almas busy. Because that would have been a great storyline. Yeah. They would have had incredible 4-star matches every week, every pay-per-view. They haven't done it. But the Undisputed Era, definitely one of my favorite things about NXT or wrestling right now. I think this NXT roster is probably the hottest that it's been since, I don't know, the Balor Samoa Joe days.
And I think you're getting some great younger people there, and it's like they're delivering. It's anytime I watch a takeover, it's like I could watch the NXT Takeover collection on the network every single day and never be disappointed.
Yeah.
I still believe the best overall pay-per-view special event all year was NXT Takeover New Orleans.
The one before Mania?
Yep.
Which was, what was the main event? Was that the Gargano and Tommaso again?
The first one. I still believe that event, single-handedly, if you look at I would put that and Evolution as the 2 best overall pay-per-views of the year.
Now, with NXT, there was a tweet thread that I saw after the last, or what would be the last, matchup at a takeover between Ciampa and Gargano. And that was that they had basically told a story through their matches, through what they did in their matches, and had come full circle, like him spitting on his ring and throwing it.
Amazing.
And the fact that both of them had resorted to different things in the ring in different matches. Now, I don't know if that was intentional, but if it is, like, that's 2018, 2019 storytelling in the ring. Like, that's the next era of great wrestling. It's not cheesy gimmicks. It's being able to do that and not even realize that that's what you're witnessing.
You know who's whose hand is in that? That's Shawn Michaels.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's been the producer on so many of those matches, and he and Triple H together have single-handedly, like, we are going to focus a lot of our energy in this story.
Wow. Props to them.
Because I went on my WrestleMania binge, and I've watched all these WrestleManias, and I tweeted when I was watching the Undertaker-Michaels match from 25. There was another match where they told the story in the match.
Yep.
And it's like, you see little seeds of, like, okay, you're seeing that now in NXT.
Yeah.
You know?
It's brilliant what they've done. Because you told me a few months ago that Vince was pretty much, like, over storylines, and because we see so much of superstars out of character now, and of course that's social media, everything else, total divas, whatever, that it's hard to keep kayfabe, or whatever you refer to it as. Yeah. And so if that's going to be the direction we're going, NXT's the blueprint, man. Like, plain and simple.
I think NXT is the blueprint, and then if we're talking social media, Becky Lynch right now is killing social media.
She's crushing it, dude.
You know, and because she's a master at blurring that line. But you know that everything there's a layer of truth in every single thing that she tweets.
Yeah.
You know, where you're like, ooh, okay, but you're not seeing that from the men. And JR called them out on it. He tweeted it the other day. He's like, why are we not seeing the men use social media in the same way that the women are?
Yeah, it's. I didn't notice that. I hadn't thought about it, but I was just like, no, he's got a point. Like, I don't see that. You could have rivalries when they're not on TV, you know. But the line is getting more and more blurred.
And it has to be, because we do have an all access pass to all of their lives 24/7 now.
Which one of the best ones, and I know it's like I don't know what the hell they're doing with it, but it is so awkwardly awesome. Renee Young and Dean Ambrose.
Yep.
Okay, one, I want more Renee Young in 2019 because she's crushed it, and I'm so proud of her for that.
Yeah.
You could give me her and Corey Graves on Monday, wouldn't complain, and you could give me Corey Graves and Saxton because I love Tom Phillips. I think he's great.
He is.
But he is falling into that Michael Cole hole where it just sounds like somebody's pulling a string on the back. Like if you took a shot every time Michael Cole said hashtag or really emphasized it's boss time or the big dog, it's like you'd die after the first hour of Raw.
Yeah.
And Phillips is falling into that hole. And I'm sure they're being fed lines, but...
It was funny. He did an interview with Sam Roberts talking about his character. And he's like... And his take on it's interesting, and I somewhat understand it. He's like, no, my role... I don't want to have a persona. He's like, my job is just to call the action. But I'm also like, no, dude, like, Mauro Ranallo, Jim Ross, as I've been watching a lot of stuff from the Attitude Era, Jim Ross's persona was putting all of these people over. The way Mauro Ranallo has talked about Tommaso Ciampa being this evil, disgusting human being, he's elevated Ciampa by doing that.
Dude, he's such a wordsmith on the mic. Like, the dude can come up with these analogies and these references and these words that it's just like, boom.
Boom.
Like, it hits you.
But it's like, I remember watching that takeover from New Orleans, where I thought was just a master class in commentary by Mauro. And Percy Watson and Nigel, like, they're both great, too. They're great counterparts to him. But just the soundtrack that he was able to provide, like, you felt like, man, this Tommaso, he's an asshole. Like, he really is. Like, I hate this guy, you know. And and I feel an absence of that on the main roster.
Yeah.
And I'm talking both SmackDown and Raw, because Michael Cole's too busy selling
whatever's coming up next.
The network, blah 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 blah. And you and I texted or tweeted about it specifically in the fall when they were promoting Super Showdown. They were promoting Crown Jewel
and Evolution
and Helen, like all like within like a 5-week span. And it's like,
damn,
you know what you're not doing? Telling us what's happening in the ring.
Which I hate that there's 3 voices on commentary when it comes to a match, because there are so many times that they end up talking over each other because they're trying to add something in that either happened in the storyline or not even in that match while the match is happening. And it's just like, if I was blind, I'd be pissed because I don't know what's going on.
Which is why it's like everyone needs to sit and listen to NXT, because Mauro is the driving force.
Yeah.
And it's like, Nigel understands his role. Percy understands his role. But they very rarely, like, talk over the top of each other. And they're not getting in, like... And I love the Corey, Renee, like, heated debates. But in NXT, they're not... They are elevating the talent. The 3 of them aren't fighting about random stuff just to, like... Even though it is funny when Corey slams, you know... Byron Saxton, or when Tom Phillips called Otunga Byron at the last pay-per-view.
I just love every time Ambrose is out there, Corey's just like, so what's going on here, Renee? She's like, I just live with the guy. I mean, it's just like, she's played it off so well. Yeah. But he like keeps pushing that button. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, what else are you going to do? Like, we all know. Like, it's the elephant in the room that's been addressed. Right. So that's funny. I had no idea that Aleister Black and Vega were married. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. They got married in November. Like, I didn't odd couple. I legitimately thought that her and Almas were a thing.
No.
Like, I really did. No. But, yeah, when that real life is acknowledged, and now you've got a thing on your hand, which I think Renee's done very well. Luckily, you know, she's only married to one guy, and he's only in for one part of the night. But
and I think there's a perfect opportunity that anytime that Ambrose is on, she needs to become like a heel in her commentary. Like, she needs to defend what he, like, not just play it off like, I don't know, like, yeah, no, he deserves that. Like, play into that only when he's on, and then step back. It would just add a cool dynamic to it.
Yeah, because when Ambrose won the title at TLC, that whole match, I'm like, what is she going to say if he wins? Because we saw Ronda win, and then she ran out and she had an embrace with her husband at ringside. You see Brie Bella come running out to embrace Daniel Bryan. So it's like Renee Young's right there. Like, what's going to happen? And she didn't even be like, I'm so proud of him. It just, like, it fell.
And that's where I'm saying, flat. Like, no, like,
own it.
You can elevate him more than anybody else. Do it. But to me, it's just the main roster is just, they've been treading water all of 2018. So
you don't believe that what Vince and basically the regime came out and said a few Mondays ago is actually going to happen? It's more than just get people to tune in.
I think they're going to attempt to shake it up because they're going to have to. Because here's what's going to happen. They're at the point where one of two things is going to happen. They're going to have to change to bring people, to get ratings back up and get people excited again. A. Or B, everything is going to be taken off cable. And everything is going to be done on the network.
Which I'm surprised that's not how it is now.
And I believe in the next 5 years that's what's going to happen. That it's not going to be, I'm going to turn on USA and watch it. Now, granted, they get millions and millions and millions of dollars by being on TV. Because of ad sponsors, blah, 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 blah. It's a huge moneymaker. Huge moneymaker. That's why Raw's 3 hours. They're making money hand over fist by having 3 hours of Raw. But at the same point, these people are going to be like, hey, specifically Fox investing in SmackDown, like,
you got to give me 3 hours of something good here, you know, or
it's
2 hours.
It's the return of investment. So do I think that things are going to change? Yeah, but they're going to have to. Vince is going to have to, for the first time ever, he's going to have to sit and listen to Hunter.
Yeah.
Okay, how do we get the pulse on this? Because you obviously have it figured out with NXT. Vince is going to have to become a student a little bit.
So is this shakeup, is this a result of ratings being down, their guy being sidelined, or a combination of both? Like, is this a wake-up call for Vince being like, I really don't have control over anything because our ratings suck and our guy that I've spent the last 3 years pushing is now out for however long?
Well, we live in an era where when things got bad before, people would just like sit and complain about it. Now, because of social media, there's instant feedback if things suck, right? Yeah. And it just amplifies it. Because I could have missed Raw, but DVR'd it, get on Twitter, and everyone's telling me how bad it is. Well, now I'm not going to watch it. Now there's this just public outcry. Now, seriously, my new favorite thing is reading Twitter right after Raw.
Yeah.
Because it's just, oh, God, that was horrible. And it's like, yeah, it was.
Yeah. So you have some feelings about Crown Jewel or maybe all the overseas events, which I don't want any more of.
Here's the thing. I don't mind them doing the overseas thing per se. I do think that they flirt with, we're this Make-A-Wish, be a star, anti-bullying, women's blah, 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 blah. And then you do shows where your women can't wrestle. You do shows that basically ban Sami Zayn from doing it, and you're doing it all for money, basically.
Yeah.
So
it's bad.
It's bad. The one in Australia I thought was cool because everyone could be there, and it wasn't amidst controversy. My issue with it is that it's being headlined by people who should not be headlining shows anymore.
Yeah, I mean...
And that's, to me, I am done with the nostalgia acts.
Yeah, I mean, my last one, and you know this, would be The Rock versus Triple H at Mania, just because it hasn't happened, you know?
Triple H is kind of a rare exception, because he does not look old age, and he can still do stuff. But I don't need to see it all the time, because once again, and I'm not defending CM Punk because he's his own worst enemy in many cases, but the one thing that he continually said is every time you bring in these nostalgia acts, you're saying that these are these are the real deal stars, and those of us who are living it every day aren't, and they're constantly proving that.
I think it would be different if the way that they approached them was that, one, you didn't invest half your show, Raw or SmackDown, or both, promoting the match, and two, you didn't have it be a main event. Like, if it kicked off the show, I don't think people would have as big a problem with it as they do if they main event.
And one, I'm furious about it, but secondly, what a waste. What a waste. Does anybody remember that Shawn Michaels returned this year? Like, I'm being serious. It's a blip on the radar, because it's like it never happened. No one's talking about it. There's no, because it wasn't about putting anybody else over. It wasn't about like him versus Daniel Bryan, or him versus Seth, or him versus AJ Styles, where a person can now take that and use it to further themselves.
It was we've never done this, so let's do it.
We done it, and then it died there.
Yeah.
The match ended, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's never even been talked about since.
Yeah, and The Undertaker's failure to stay retired. I mean, look, I was a little bit put off when Michaels came back.
I'm still angry about it.
But Undertaker, it's like, you know, you look back at certain things that were supposed to mean something as far as matches go and outcomes. And it's like, it was for what? Because you basically just shat on it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Roman Reigns retired The Undertaker, which he came on Raw and said for like the next 5 months straight. Yeah, can't say that anymore.
No, he used it against John Cena. No, so once again, it's like, I'm done with it. You know, to me, it's become lazy, because what you're saying is we've sucked at building our current roster. That we've got nothing hot on our current roster. So let's bring in the nostalgia act.
Yeah, the tag team divisions is probably the biggest failure on either brand, Raw or SmackDown.
And it shouldn't be, because you've got amazing tag teams.
You have legitimate tag teams, but yet you continue to put the titles on guys that you just throw together. Now, I love the Bar. I think Sheamus and Cesaro make a phenomenal team.
They do.
I really do. But when you throw together Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel as the B team...
Well, it's like... And to me, it's like, I'm fine with them being a tag team. But I guess here's my thing with NXT. Everybody's treated seriously. Like, no one's treated like a joke, or let's just point and laugh at them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, everyone has an air of, like, true seriousness, credibility to them. Even when Bayley was in NXT. Like, yeah, she's but when push came to shove, it's, no, we're taking her seriously.
Which I think, if I had to say what my biggest missed opportunity was on the main roster, other than Braun Strowman, was the Bayley heel turn. The moment that she said "you ain't shit" to Sasha was like, oh my god, here we go. And I thought she was going to be the next like Sami Zayn, but on a female standpoint. And then
they killed it.
Yeah.
Once again, no. Now we know they're going to introduce women's tag team titles. Great, awesome, love it. Sasha and Bayley will probably win it. Awesome, great, love it. But they've been on the main roster now for 3 years, and this entire time the two of them, or they've been teasing that one of them's going to turn on one another, and they haven't done it. And it's like, we're going to do it. Nah, not this week. So once again, there's no storyline progression. There's nothing.
Yeah. It's been bad. And, I love when the fans are so vocal. They say, no, not going to happen. Like when they tried to turn Becky Lynch heel, and they're like, no, not going to happen. And look how well that's done. That's what happens when you let the product sell itself. Well, she's done so great.
No, and that's the thing is they actually just need to listen. Had they listened this year, Braun Strowman would have been champion.
Yeah.
The thing is, he and Roman had great matches. Truthfully, they did.
They did.
And I am not a Roman hater. Like I got frustrated with them shoving him down our throat. But I don't hate the guy, and he can put on good matches with the right people. Him and Finn Balor had a great match this year. Which is funny, none of the matches of the year feature Roman Reigns on the WWE Network. Just pointing that out. But they missed that opportunity because Vince was so obsessed. It's got to be Roman. I don't care what anyone says. It's got to be Roman, at the expense of the entire Raw brand.
Yeah,
because prayers to Roman and all of that. But as I've gone back and I've been rewatching a lot of Raw from 20 years ago. So I'm watching Raw from 1999 now, just 20 years ago. And it's funny how you had Undertaker, you had Foley, you had Rock, you had Austin, you had Big Show, you had Triple H, you had Kane, you had all these people who, if The Rock got hurt,
the next guy steps in.
You had a litany of people who were credible that the championship could have gone on in the event that something happened. Not that you wanted it, not that you expected it, but you had this crop of people that, okay, boom. When Austin went out at the end of 99 and into 2000, you still had Triple H. You still had Undertaker. Well, Undertaker was injured, but you had Rock, Big Show, you had all these people that we've elevated, and their main roster has not done that.
Which leads me to the last thing to talk about, which is what we want to see more of in 2019, or things that we'd like to see altogether. Now, the irony of Brock Lesnar is that he's never there, but he is that heel that I've wanted for so long. In fact, he's the same heel that he was back when he was against guys like The Rock and Eddie Guerrero, right. Which is, he doesn't need dirty wins. He's just so good, but yet he's a bad guy that it's like, who can come in and actually beat this guy?
Yep.
Now, I see the tweets. I see social media saying, so who's realistically going to beat Brock Lesnar? And in my mind, I'm thinking, it's WWE. They can make anybody beat that guy. But I understand their point because they have made him somewhat invincible. So it feels like NXT almost does more of the bad guy angle where it's like they don't have to win dirty. They just keep finding ways to win and being a bad guy. Like with the Undisputed Era, there's interference.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when was the last time Ciampa won dirty? And he's one of the best heels right now,
I would say this calendar year, he's been the most consistent heel. The way he carries himself, he like Becky Lynch, the way that he tweets is like he is using social media as a way to elevate himself.
Yeah,
he gets it. No one is touching Becky Lynch though.
No, and I don't think that they will. I mean, I think she is either female superstar or just superstar of the year, and Champ is right there because I think Velveteen did it in 2017, and that's a name that we haven't talked about at all. But man, he is crushing it.
Oh my God, he's
so good.
23,
and he's so good,
so good, so like
tough enough reject, and he just like not even in his mind.
No, he there's the magic word. He has it. You know what I mean? And he's destined for big things.
I legit thought they were going to put it on him at that last NXT because...
And isn't that amazing that NXT can... Like, you wonder.
Yeah, you don't know.
You don't
know.
Very rarely do I sit and say, oh, I know.
No, you don't. And I love that about that product. I really do.
Where I watch Raw and I'm like, I know what's going to happen.
And here's the fascinating thing about it, and I'm sure that you've probably noticed this because you notice things like this all the time, but there are a few superstars that can lose consistently and yet still be at that level. I mean, other than the steel cage match that happened this last week against Aleister Black, when was the last time Gargano won? Yeah. But yet he's still one of the top 3 guys in that brand.
Because their whole platform is elevating people.
Yeah, and The Miz is the same way on the main roster. He can lose every week, but yet still be that top-tier guy.
Yeah. And the main roster, what do we want more of in 2019? I want consistent storylines.
Yeah.
I want you to build people up. I want the commentators to tell stories, not sell products. And I know they got to sell, but NXT is all about storytelling.
Yeah.
It really is. It's this wonderful just way that they tell stories. I want more of that.
Yeah, I want more storytelling.
Tell me the story in the ring.
Yeah, and I think that they're on the verge of getting the talent to do it. Now, I think that EC3 has been main roster ready since he got to NXT.
100%.
Which is crazy to think. That was Derek Bateman at one point. But they really need to reevaluate all the people that they've called up and look at, okay, so who really deserves to be pushed, and how do we do that? Because you brought them up for a reason. Like, you didn't bring them up to be jobbers, did you? Like, you brought them up because they were hot at that level.
They brought them
Let
up,
it carry into this.
They brought them up to get an initial pop from an audience, but once again, there was no intentionality there. It's never like, okay, where do we see Ty Dillinger in 6 months? Do we want him to be an Intercontinental Champion, a U.S. Champion? Okay, what do we need to do to get him from here to here? Who are some great people that we can have him? They don't ask that. They're, well, let's just bring him up.
Like, Bobby Roode should not be in a tag team. I mean, not that him and Gable aren't doing well, but it's like, why isn't he on the same roster as Shinsuke Nakamura? They had great matches together. That rivalry was fantastic.
Because they don't think.
I mean, it's just like, all you got to do is just bring them up how they are. Mm-hmm. You know, it's all you got to do. Don't repackage it.
Damn it! I know what people want. There's you get that sense from Vince that no, I know what people want, and it's like, no, but you're not listening. You're really not. And it was in that Stone Cold podcast. He asked Vince, like, are you listening to the audience? I listen to people all the time. How? I listen. How? Oh, I listen to people. How do people tell you what they want? No, I listen to the audience. Like, he would not fully answer that question. And it's like, I don't believe he is. So I'm hoping that Shane, Stephanie, Hunter are like, you need to sit and really learn from us.
I'm hoping that the XFL takes his attention away from wrestling. I really hope, because it seems like if he can turn a different cheek in that regard,
right?
Why not put more energy into it? Let that be your new baby.
Yeah.
And let the people that are running things really well continue to run them well in your stead. I mean, it's just like, it's not, you're not relinquishing power. You're just focusing your attention on something that is coming up.
I think when you have people like Heyman still around,
so good.
You know, when you've got people like Shawn Michaels and Triple H, who you've got those brains in your grasp, you've got to use them.
I honestly believe that Heyman's the kind of guy that you could put him with literally any superstar, and they could be believably title contender in a month. If that.
But you need the rocket ship behind it. You need the machine with it. But to me, it's like Vince has enough smart people around. He could turn things around. I want to believe that he could do it. But he has to check his ego at the door. And to me, the reason why I doubt it is when they had that speech on Raw about how we're going to turn things around. He had Stephanie talk about it, he had Shane talk about it, and he had Triple H talk about it, and he just let them take the hit for it, not him. You know what I mean? Like, Stephanie was the one that says we've not been doing a very good job lately.
And Shane out there apologizing for SmackDown? For what?
Right.
Like, what has SmackDown done wrong?
And, Triple H just said, you're the authority, blah, 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 blah. And Vince just said, as long as we give you more of what you want and less of what you don't want, WWE will always be now, then, and forever. And that was it. That was his only thing. Yeah. He let the three of them take the true heat for it. And it's like, no, dude, the buck stops with you.
Yeah. I would like them to ditch themed pay-per-views. I don't understand them. It's like you have a pay-per-view, TLC, and the guys on the poster aren't even in a TLC match, and it's for a title.
Don't.
Go back to cool names and badass sets. I mean, really.
Please. And then if a TLC match organically, that's why I love Takeover. Like, other than the War Games one, maybe you'll get a street fight at this one. You never know, but it becomes an organic part of the story.
Yeah.
Not the story fitting into a gimmicky pay-per-view.
I don't like having to think that a storyline is going to have to time itself just right, where we will get the conclusion at Hell in the Cell. And then it might not even be in Hell in a Cell.
No, it's like, this storyline is at a point where that's the next logical progression. Damn it, let's do it in June.
It was creative humor that said there used to be a point where a Hell in a Cell match marked the end of a rivalry. And I laughed so hard because it was so true. And I was like, this is probably the best tweet of 2018. If you had to sum it up with a tweet, this is it.
Follow Creative Humor, WWE Creative Humor. They're a perfect companion piece
so good.
to everything.
Sometimes, because I can't watch lives, sometimes I'll just wait and I'll have an alarm go off on my phone and I'll go to their Twitter page and I'll just follow along the action through them.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love it. So, ditch the theme thing. More consistency, whether it's storyline.
Consistency.
Yeah. I don't know what they want to do for gimmicks because it seems like they're just lacking good ones. I'd like to see more finishing moves. It seems like a lot of the main roster people are submission specialists. And to an extent, I'm okay with that. But when your superstars that have finishing moves are Finn Balor with the coup de grace that I don't even care for.
No, thank
Dolph
you.
Ziggler with the zigzag. AJ Styles with the phenomenal forearm, which is great. But it's like, those are your top 3 finishing moves now.
Well, now it's weird because it's like Sweet Chin Music used to be like a devastating move.
Yes.
Now everyone does super kicks like 18,000 times in a match, where it's no different than a punch.
Yeah, suicide dives every other match.
Yep.
It gets overdone. But yeah, everybody's got a submission hold now. And half the time it's not even like an intricate one. Like Flair's, she does the figure 8, you know, and that's great. But you've got arm bars and chokeholds, and it's like, really? Like, give us something that we can get excited for.
Although I was excited when Becky Lynch had the disarmor on Ronda Rousey. And that, to me, that's how WrestleMania needs to end.
Yeah. That would be poetic.
I'm telling you, right? That needs to be the finish at WrestleMania 35.
So do you think that that's going to be... Because they've made this point of the announced team really reiterating specific things. Like Carmella and R-Truth. How many times did they say, for your respective Rumble? Right? Like,
right.
we know
right.
Carmella's not going to find herself in the men's Royal Rumble.
That's Vince just giving them, say this, but...
So I see Becky entering the Rumble, winning, and then deferring to Raw, because you used to be able to do that, but last year they made a point to say for their respective brand.
And this year they've already said...
It's
any championship you want, or any world title that you want.
That's what I needed to hear to make sure that could actually be.
And that's why I think... Because initially they announced Asuka versus Becky Lynch at Royal Rumble, then they've since canceled that match. And I think it's because Becky will enter. They need to do the Stone Cold thing. It needs to be the Stone Cold thing, where she goes in, throws people over. Like, now's the perfect time to redo Stone Cold from 1998, where he said, I'm a marked man, but I'm going to win every single thing. And he did it. And they didn't have to screw up that story because it was just so like, this is what we want. That's what they need to do. They're in a big stadium for the Rumble, huge stadium in Phoenix, where the Diamondbacks play. Becky needs to win the female Royal Rumble.
And if she does, I mean, the way that they ended the Rumble last year left you wondering, but it's going to be obvious if she does this time. Mm-hmm. So she throws the last person over. Mm-hmm. Fireworks, music, give her the mic and just let her do her thing, because she will end it on such a high note like that.
And to me, it's like, you want to get people talking, you want to get people excited, you want to start 2019 better than 2018, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Who's the hottest thing in the company right now? Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
You need to strap the rocket ship to her. Let her do her thing. Let her just let her run it.
On that note, though, now here's the big $1 million question. Becky has done a phenomenal job of being like the Miz and feeding off things that we're not even aware of.
Right.
Where am I on this poster?
Yeah.
I'm your Intercontinental Champion. I'm not even on the poster.
Yeah.
The guy who's here for one pay-per-view is. She's done that so well that I almost don't want to see that change because she uses it so well.
Yeah, no, and I think that other than them, okay, you're going to win, blah, 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 they don't change anything because they're not, other than I think that she will be on the WrestleMania poster, obviously, because I do believe the women will main event Mania. 100, because what in the guy male part storyline is even touching that? Nothing's even close. So I think there, but I do think she needs to use this, like, it's about time.
Yeah.
Or this is only happening because of me. Like, had it not been for me, women would not be main eventing WrestleMania. And so I think she needs to use that heat and just...
So everything going on with the SmackDown women's division right now, just
the women.
leave it be.
With
the women as a whole, leave it be. It's doing great. The best heel on the women's division, though, I will say without a doubt, is Ruby Riott. But I hate when they have to bring in family, especially deceased family, into it. And I know Natalya had to sign off on that, but man, like that's something I just really wish that they would try to. That's like your last resort to drive this home.
Yeah, and it's just let's just do this. Let's be lazy. It's like you don't need to.
You don't.
But whatever.
So I think that pretty much covered everything that I had talking points on. So really, just to, they need to replace Money in the Bank with something else because it's overdone and it hasn't even been its thing anymore. So I'd like to see them bring back like a King of the Ring, but I still think if we're gonna go with the times and what NXT is sort of blueprinting, that a ranking system isn't out of the question.
Oh, that was on my list. Remember when SmackDown had a ranking system this year?
Yeah, where'd that go?
No, nobody knows because they used it for 3 weeks.
Yeah, and it was a talking point for
3 weeks, and then it died.
Yeah. And
once again, consistency, people.
Yeah. But if you actually did a legitimate like contendership ranking and not just like who's the hottest on the whole roster, you don't have to have that strong of gimmicks now. Now you can utilize all your talent and keep them in the picture. That way, if somebody gets out, you enter the next guy right in. You don't have to have like some weird storyline of this guy getting brought up to this because whatever. It's just
we live. The talent on the roster has never been better. Truthfully,
yeah.
Let them do their thing.
I can't wait for Kevin Owens to come back because I know he's going to be a great heel.
He's amazing. And to be fair to Raw, they took some hits when you lost Roman, Sammy, and Kevin Owens all in a span of like a few months.
Yeah.
So I know they took some massive star power and they took some hits, but yeah, when they come back, but you got to use them right.
Yeah. Elias, I think, is right on the verge of being something great. I wish Bobby Lashley has been like a wasted thing.
Elias,
again.
They need to do something with because right now I feel like it's waning.
Yeah,
I feel like he was, the thing in Seattle was great. And I felt like
it was so good.
And I felt like there were multiple times this year where now once again, WWE is horrible with timing. I feel like they're 6 months too late with almost everything.
Yeah, were you as surprised as I was when Tyler Breeze's music hit for the Intercontinental title? Because it's like, okay, so you're going to shake things up, and you've got the same 3 guys that have been in the title picture, right. And your new way to shake things up is Tyler Breeze?
As it should be. But the thing is, he should have been, like, treated as such, like, all along.
Well, when he's on NXT the week before, it doesn't help.
No, but it's one of those things where it's like, now you see that these people, like, SmackDown has Shelton Benjamin, and you're not. So it's like they need to really like look at who's on the roster. Oh, we've got we could do some actual great matchups here, and they're not.
Which I think my last point on this whole thing is that Mustafa Ali is a beacon of hope for me, because if you look at NXT superstars that have been called up that were in their main event picture, with the exception of the heavy hitters like Bobby Roode and a few others, like they were destined for 205 Live because that's their build. Yep. Gargano, God forbid he gets called up, he's going to go straight to 205 Live. So I'm hoping Mustafa Ali on the main roster and doing well is changing that because, I mean, Lars Sullivan, which I'm over the big destruction guy. I mean, what are they going to make him the next Brock Lesnar that actually makes regular appearances?
Yeah.
Or Funkasaurus? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But that's... I love Velveteen Dream. I love the whole NXT roster right now. I cringe at the idea of them getting called up because I'm not convinced that they will be used to their full potential.
Nope. I worry about all of that too. Like, which is why it's like really legitimize NXT as a third brand and bring, Ty Dillinger back. Keep it, people on NXT, if NXT is really a third brand, pay them as such.
For one, yeah.
And then make it so that it's not a demerit to be there.
Yeah, but I think NXT, though, has been the perfect brand because you don't see the same superstars every week. Nope. If they went up to 2 hours, we wouldn't complain, and you still don't have to bring out every superstar in that 2 hour span.
Nope.
And having their big thing be once every 3 to 4 months has been perfect because it's like now you have time to develop a story that's not going to fizzle out or get too hot too fast in a month.
Yeah.
You've got time to build it up every other week and drop little snippets here and then boom, takeovers here and it's like, here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what they're doing there, do that on the main roster.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Rumble's going to tell a lot. They're either going to completely drop the ball or they're going to actually do what they say. So I guess it's 50-50 shot.
I think next week is when they really come back live.
Oh, because they did everything pre-recorded for this week.
So tonight and tomorrow have been pre-taped. Spoilers are already out there. You can go online and find them. So starting next week, I think will be the first time that we really see this whole, quote, new era will be the first seeds of it starting next week. So I feel like beginning next week, we're going to start to see, are you really listening? Are you really giving us what we want? Or is it more of the same? Because honestly, they can't afford for it to be more of the same.
No.
Because if 2019 is anything like 2018, they're screwed.
Yeah, because, I mean, you can bring in a lot of money with ad spots, but USA has got to be like, this is not working for us on our end.
And Fox, they
got to be a little nervous right now, too.
So, and I guarantee we're going to turn it around. Okay. Start next week. Fix it. They've had a few weeks now through the holidays to come up with a plan. And hopefully at the McMahon family Christmas, they were able to...
I wonder what those family get-togethers are like, because it's not even, like, Hunter's the guy right now in my mind, and it's the McMahons. It's like, he's not even a McMahon. Like,
but
he married the one.
He basically is. He's more of a they treat him like more of a McMahon than they do Shane.
They should have taken him. He should have taken their last name when him and Steph got married.
Yeah.
But whatever. It's funny. So that recaps 2018 and what we're looking forward to, hopefully, 2019. More NXT, more Becky Lynch.
There it is. To me, this first 3 months between now and Mania, everything needs to lead to Becky walking out of Mania beating Ronda. And that's not knocking, because Ronda's done phenomenal this year. She is so good. Like, legitimately, she's incredible. But to me, that's...
Yeah.
Whether it's a triple threat or one-on-one, I don't care, but that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to do Flair, too, with Ronda.
Apparently, one report I read is they already promised Flair a spot in that main event match. So I don't care if it's a triple threat. In some ways, it might be better, and you just get more bang for your buck, and you get the star power. I'm fine with that. But to me, in some way, you've got to have Becky and Ronda. That needs to be the main focal point. If Flair's in there, okay.
I don't even know how they pull that off, because you can only have one Rumble winner unless they do where they both eliminate at the same time. But it seems like a stretch.
They'll figure it out. But to me, maybe it's both of them.
I will say, funny because he who shall not be named is in this, but remember WrestleMania 20, how they turned a one-on-one into a triple threat.
Yeah.
They could do that, but it's just
Benoit.
It gets harder to pull off those storylines convincingly when they say otherwise.
But to me, it's if they do the Benoit thing here, and yes, I said his name. If that's what it becomes, and you got this really cool triple threat, because that match was great.
Yeah, it was. It worked out really, really well.
So to me, if it's the same type of thing here.
Yeah. I just want a clean match, though, because I get tired of matches that, because they get turned into something, now there's no disqualification, there's this, and now it's like that. You didn't need any more.
No,
and so now there's a run-in or whatever.
I could easily see them saying no disqualification, which is fine from a physicality standpoint, but as long as, just like Benoit, saying it again, tapped out Triple H.
Yeah.
And it was clean, there was no controversy. As long as that same arc happens, I'm cool with it.
There were some moments in that match that were so good. Like when Benoit had the crossface on Michaels and he went to tap and Triple H grabbed his arm and stopped him. That was so good.
Yeah, to me it's like
so good.
Those three, Ronda, Charlotte, Becky, could put on...
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
It could be amazing. Specifically if they start planting the seeds now and the three of them have time to what can we do?
Yeah, so Rumble. It's going to be that.
Yep.
All right, well, James, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you taking some time to come and catch up. This is going to be the last any kind of new content before the new year.
Yeah, well, You're welcome.
All right, folks. Well, that's been a wrestling special for the wrestling division from here at the Fan Show. Don't forget to follow James, the sports guy, at 805 SmackDown. Always a good source of Twitter happenings. And then, of course, Creative-ish, WWE Creative Humor, because that is one of my favorite wrestling follows on all of Twitter. But we will see you guys in 2019. And make sure that you tune into the Fan Show with all new episodes next year. Enjoy and Happy New Year.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.